What's up, world? Shark Nation Live. We are back for another week. We're going to talk about some happy feet this week. I got me and Jason here. How's it going today, Jason?
Doing awesome, doing awesome. How are you? Merry
Living the
Christmas.
dream. Yeah, I got my little Star Wars Christmas shirt
I-
on here.
Does that count as ugly Christmas sweater? I
In
love
Florida?
Star Wars, but is that the thing?
In Florida, it does.
I like it. Yeah, short sleeve. There is no sweaters down there.
Although it's just as cold as probably up north right now down here. So it's yeah. So talking, I think, wanting to be relevant. You look around the holidays, you look around this time of year. Obviously, we have the title of this is Happy Feet. What we see is you see a lot of agent movement. Everybody knows it. Coming into January 1, people have time to reassess their past year, all the good stuff. So, and I think, as the post says, I think there's two mindsets for those types of agents, right? There's some that are looking for a better vessel, and one mindset they might not understand is there are some who are not willing to be accountable for their own actions. They would place blame on the brokerage. So we're seeing it both ways. We have movement out and we have movement in. I know in my organization, I'm experiencing a lot of both. It's a lot of like nullifying, like this person's over here, but this person's going in. It's like, and it's just a lot of extra nothing, but it's the nature of the business. So, what are your thoughts on, maybe how to determine, are you looking for a better vessel or are you just not listening or, being accountable to your own actions?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. When we're talking about this, as you black me out, which is fine. I don't want to see any of it.
No, we're
No.
good. Sorry.
Now, every time of year, the week leading up to Christmas, the week between Christmas and New Year's is always like a traditionally slow time for real estate agents, right? So a lot of thinking goes in, and it's kind of it's kind of for agents, but it's also for everybody, right? You have agents thinking, is the grass greener? Is there some secret sauce somewhere else where I could, hit the sweet spots there, and maybe I'm just not getting the support that I need where I'm at, So you have some of that, and then you also have, same thing with regular business. Regular W-2 employees are thinking like, maybe I'm looking for a new year, a new career shift, right?
New year, new me.
New year, new me. Getting fit, get that gym membership, getting buff. Yeah, that type of thing. So I'm seeing it both ways for that. But like I said, a lot of people thinking like, oh, is it going to be better somewhere else? My thought always is look internally first, right? Am I doing what I need to do to make the results happen? Because in reality, a lot of times they say, the grass is greener because there's a lot more, making it grow green. So, I would look internally. Am I doing the activities that are needed to be successful where I'm at now? If I'm doing what I'm doing now, am I going to get the same results that I'm getting somewhere else? If that's the case, then maybe you need a different mentor or different leadership structure or, group or team around you to kind of get you where you want to go.
Yeah. And, I mean, that's not to, you look at like, can you get the mentor, the coach situation at a brokerage? And there's certainly a lot of ways to do that, between downlines and the right manager and whatnot. There's ways to get that, but the people I've talked with that coach a lot and the coaches that I've had, you need a different coach at a different time. So like, even if you have found the right one in the beginning, you're probably going to move on. So there's a lot of cases where I don't think that joining just simply because one person or one is the perfect. That's not a long-term solution. And I think it's interesting to look at because the brokerage is simply, it's a vessel. Like that's what it is. It's a vessel. It's the model. It's the business model for your business model, really, and there is something to be said for looking at a smarter one. Like if you're an agent on a 50-50 split, like what are you doing? Like that, it's 2023 or almost 4. Like that makes no sense. Even 60, 70%, that doesn't really make much sense, unless they're just like, paying for all your marketing and giving you lead generation, but could you do that on your own at a much less cost than you're giving up? That's where that, like, sure, if you're listening to this and you're 70% or under, like, yeah, there's probably a better vessel for you. But if you're over that, you probably got to look at plugging into what you have. There are a lot of people that leave, and even the people that join us, like people that leave us, we see they don't really plug into a lot of the stuff. And the people that join us, we see they didn't plug into a lot of the stuff at their past brokerage. So it's almost like the level of success of agents, and there's exceptions, but on average is the ones that plug in more, get more,
Yeah, no, for sure. It's like, I kind of did like an end of the year recap with the team, and just doing some one-on-one questions and, just getting some feedback with that from them. It's like, what worked? What do you guys like about, kind of what we're doing, but what didn't work, right? What should we get rid of and stop doing immediately, right? And then, when you're getting some suggestions from team members and things like that, now they're buying in for the culture, right? Because they're the ones helping design it. So it's not just like I say, look, this isn't a dictatorship, it's a democracy, right? I want everybody kind of on the same page. At the end of the day, I got to make the best decisions, what's right for the team. But, all in all, I want this to be great for everybody. Like, I want the value prop so high where it's like, why wouldn't you be here? Right. You know what I mean? So, but then again, you're just going to have some people that are just, I wouldn't want to say stuck in their ways or whatever, but kind of just have their own routines and, they don't like to buy into that stuff. Maybe they feel awkward in big groups or something like that.
Yeah, and they probably, need to go through some things personally, like maybe therapy and, and discover a little bit, because and I say that with love because, like, maybe I did at one point. I've been somebody who has ignored accountability a lot over the years. But one thing, I'm like a slow turtle, man. Though, like, I just keep coming back. I might not listen, like a turtle running, or not running, a turtle moving slowly forward with these blinders on that come down every once in a while. Like, that's me.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of times I had to go screw up before I would be open to hearing how I did it wrong. And I'm not always proud of that, but I do like the steadiness I have down a path. And I look at a lot of the people we're talking about that run away from accountability. It's they probably just haven't felt enough pain yet to realize that they need to lean into that shit. Like, accountability is the greatest form of love somebody can show you. And it's why I've married my wife. Like, she will call my bullshit out at every turn.
I've seen it. It's great.
Right. And so I'll give you an example of that. And this is what anybody on a team or even on a brokerage, you really need to hear, I think, is I had somebody, running a leadership role. I had somebody that I'm like, man, half the time they're really great. They're doing what I want. And the other half of the time they're not. And I'm just like so frustrated with it, and I was talking to you about it, talking to my wife a little bit. And a couple of days went by and I was chatting with her when I got back from Las Vegas. And I was saying we were about to conquer some big goals or set out some big goals. And I said, I'm going to do this, going to do that. And she's like, looking at me weird. I'm like, what? You trusted me, right? Like, you believe in me, because I think she does. And she didn't. She's good for this. In a marriage, you're like, you trusted me, right? You expect an immediate like fluff, like, yes, I trusted you. No, that's not my wife. Okay, that's not my wife. I'm not gonna just fluff me up. She wants me to feel all fuzzy. No, she looked at me and she said, and she paused. Like, she thought it through. And she said, I believe in Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Chad. I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And she says, Monday you go hard and you do it, and then Tuesday you back off because you did Monday, and then Wednesday. And I'm like,
ouch.
not wrong. And
Yeah.
then the light bulb went off, and I'm sitting there complaining about somebody I'm leading being literally, what did I say, 50-50.
Yeah.
And she's telling me I'm 50-50. So as a leader as well, if you're watching this, look at yourself, because speed of the leader, speed of the pack. You model what they become. So, and that's where I had to become better. And I'm constantly on that mission of becoming better. So sorry for going off into the story, Jason, but I thought it was really relevant to see the nitty gritty, see what.
Yeah. And like you said, here's the thing with accountability, right? Nobody likes to be told what to do, right? But like you said, being accountable and all that, that's the best love that you can give somebody, because you're trying to help them help themselves. And everybody needs that push. A lot of people know that I have like a weekly one-on-one accountability call every week. Like, all right, what are we going to do? Personal, professional, lifestyle, all that kind of stuff. Like, put it on the list. We have a financial penalty if we don't do what we say we're going to do for the week. Recap the following Monday. Did you do what you say you're going to do? If not, you got to pay the fine, right? Believe me, I get stuff done that I don't feel like doing because I don't want to pay the fine. It's not a huge financial thing, but it's more of like the principle behind it, right? And like you're saying, like being a better leader, I told the team too, we're going to these events and stuff like that. And, I told them I let them down because I wasn't holding up my end of the bargain, right? I kind of let everybody coast. Hey, I'm here if you need me. What do you guys want to do? This and that. And, they weren't getting the results they were expecting. And it was because it was my fault. There's a good book out there, Extreme Ownership. You know, Former Navy SEAL Jocko and his partner wrote. But basically, you got to look internally and take the blame yourself. When things aren't going wrong, that's what did I do that is the reason because of this, right? So I realized that I wasn't, holding up my end of the bargain. So right now we're putting, pieces in place where I can help them grow. We did the go into the board exercise yesterday. It was awesome. I really had a good time with it. I'll send you the pics of it, when we get off here. But it was like, what kind of accountability do you want? Do you want mild, medium, or hot sauce, right? And everybody cringes, right? Because it goes back to that, I don't want to be told what to do, but I know I need it. I know I need it, right? Like in my weekly accountability thing, I'm like, I got to hit the gym at least 3 times a week, right? Or do some form of exercise 3 times a week. If I don't have it on there every week, same thing. If I don't read 3 times a week, I know I'll get freaking lazy and I won't do what I need to be doing, right? So it's it's a double-edged sword.
I want to circle back to what you said about like doing what you say you're going to do, because I think it's something I didn't realize was there's such a negative loop you get in with when you don't do what you say you're going to do. And it's as simple as like, I'm going to get up early tomorrow, and then you sleep in. What happens is you lose belief in yourself. Like little micro, like this shit is small. It's not like you're like, oh, I'm depressed, I hate myself today because I didn't wake up. Not like, no. But over time, you start not believing in yourself because you've literally not did what you said you were going to do. So it's just this loop and this cycle that can ultimately really actually end up in depression and stuff like that, in my opinion. So if you just create situations where you say you're going to do something and your word is your bond and you do it constantly, like working out is how everybody understands it, right? And for me right now, I'm in a big journey with my health, and I committed to minimum of 3, but I shoot for 4 or 5 workouts a week. And I have to track my food every single day. And I know I've screwed that up in the past. I always go, like everybody else, but there's not been a day missed tracking my food for the last 3 months. I think it was, I was just checking the other day. And that, the gym has not been missed for the last 4 or 5, and I have zero plans of changing it in 24, and I can feel this momentum. I feel this momentum happening, but it's not just because I'm doing it and that's part, but the main reason I feel is I said I was going to do it, and I'm doing it, and I have self-belief because that loop is positive as opposed to negative, right? You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, yeah. It's like when we talked to Sir Darren last week, right? Becoming whole, being integrity, being that whole integer. And like you said, you're setting yourself up for daily wins, right? Which is key, and get that snowball of positivity going. So then that way, hey, everybody's like, oh, how come you're so positive? It's because I set things in motion to have a positive outcome, have a positive mindset, and like you said, doing simple things. Do what you say you're going to do, right? It's easy in our line of work, and we talked about this a lot, where that freedom is crushing to a lot of people. Where it's like, ah, fuck it, I'll do it tomorrow, right? I don't have to do it today. I'll just do it tomorrow. And it's like, okay, and you can get away with that because there's no boss over your shoulder. And that's kind of the same thing, like in the team, in-person thing, we're going to the board. That's why I said, like, that's where I'm failing from, is because, everybody's used to coming from that W-2 job, and they have clock in at 9, clock out at 5, freedom at certain hours, and then they're not used to that freedom, right? They need somebody over their shoulder kind of guiding them on what they need to do and holding them accountable to, do that daily minimum so they can get the results they want. The thing is, in real estate, it's, you don't get paid unless you close, right? So it's like you don't see the daily activities stacking up because your closing might be 45 to 60 days out. So it's hard to see that financial win. You don't get a weekly paycheck in this line of work. So trying to keep yourself accountable when you don't have that short-term, endorphins or whatever you want to call it, dopamine spike of getting paid on it, it's tough to stay consistent and stay in it.
And that's a good one, because I think Hermosi hit me, Alex Hermosi, with if it's simple, when you scale it, it becomes complex. If it's complex, when you scale it, it becomes impossible. And I really like that, I'm guilty of the starting it out complex, but I want anybody listening or for our conversation here, you think, like, if you're going to set up this crazy complex, like this, like tracker, even like that's too complicated, if it's not simple, when you scale it or when you do it over a period of time, even, it's going to become too hard to keep up with. So, like, don't, keep your integrity. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. Like, you know what I mean? Find a simple way. For me, and I've been screaming about it on my Facebook here and there, but it's health, wealth, and relationships. I mean, health, I've already laid out the metrics on here. Relationships, I want to foster 5 super close relationships, that they could tell me their deepest, darkest secret, and wealth, I have some very lofty goals with the team. We want to rebuild a big Pennsylvania and Florida team and run it, at 100 plus units in both markets in 2024. So, like, it's simple, it's simple. I mean, those were more goals, I guess, even. But the daily metrics I have are simple and followable. Like, health is just log the food.
Yeah.
Like, just got to log it. It's no different if you're an agent. Put the shit in your CRM. Like, and I've said this a few times recently, but I can't say it enough, to be honest with you, because I see it. It's one of those things, like, agents say how there was somebody who posted, and I forget who it was at the moment, but he asks agents how important their P&L is on a scale of 1 to 10. To know the numbers. Maybe it was, I don't know. Let's say to know your numbers. How important is it to you on a 1 to 10? And everybody says 10. If you're watching right now, I'm assuming you'd say 10. Yet 90+% of agents can't even produce a P&L. So, or tell me how many appointments they went on this week, or tell me how many calls they made, or, because that shit ain't in the CRM. It's in their phone, or maybe, or some in the CRM, some in their phone. It's all over the place. So, it's the same thing as when I get people, when our marketing agency, we run our CRM, they come to me and they say, I follow up with my leads. I'm good at follow up. And when they actually start using the CRM, I see how full of shit they are. But you can't do that without like tracking. And that's why, like, for the food thing, it's like I was all, and I really got this from Alec Cheplack at Cheplack Wellness. He had said, people come to him all the time and say, I eat good. Well, and that's not an accurate measurement, right? I eat, and it was a total mindset shift for me where I'm like, yeah, even Brittany has said to me, yeah, you're eating good lately. I don't, understand. Well, when I just put it in the tracker, there's no bullshit. It's just, what were the calories? What were the macros? Like, there's no, oh, it's good or bad. It's, what was it? What was the numbers? They don't lie, So like, track crucial. And without tracking, you're gonna guess, and you're gonna say, to bring it back to the theme, right? It's my broker. These colors suck. My brand sucks. This leader sucks. They don't have enough support. They don't have this.
My leads suck.
My leads suck.
Yeah, you're always getting that one. It's like, we had the conversation yesterday. If you look at your database, right, how many leads do you have in there? Well, 500. On average, 5% of those should convert every year. That's 10 deals a year right out of your database. The key is to do the work to find those 10, and then uncover and then start nurturing the ones that are going to be converting after that, right? But yeah, I mean, keeping it simple, I think, is key. Simple and trackable, right? I ran into this issue when I'm like throwing out my sales contest for the team. So next year I have a sales contest, the winner, I'm going to get flight, hotel, ticket to EXPCon in Miami, right? So how do I want to track that? What do I want to do? And I'm like, you're laughing because you saw my initial thing. And then I'm like, fuck, this is horrible. If I had to track this every day, it would be like a full-time job. And then we kind of just talked about, let's keep it simple. And then I talked about it with the team, and I'm like, look, I don't want people to get discouraged because if it's a sales outcome, somebody sells a $5 million house and everybody else gets discouraged. Our market, the average sales price is like 150 grand. So somebody sells something like that, then it kind of ruins it for everybody else. Like, oh, I can't win that. And we're going to pay out first, second, and third or whatever. But, I want to keep it so if you're doing the daily activities, the results will come. So keep the whole thing simple, easily trackable. All they have to do is upload weekly what their number is for the week, and then we're going to have a leaderboard, right? But simple and trackable.
Well, it's being process-based and not outcome-based. Everybody talks about it all the time. But I mean, it's I've personally experienced that. I had set goals that I didn't think I'd ever hit, when I was getting into the business and younger, and I hit those goals, and then I extended the field goal posts, and then I hit those goals, and I'm like, well, I'm good. And I kind of backed off. And the first step in pain is coasting. You just haven't felt the pain yet. And that's from Glenn Sanford. And that has stuck with me. It's so true. But, to make it make sense for, you get a 6-pack, you go to the gym consistently and you get a 6-pack and you hit your goal. And you're like, I'm good. I'm going to stop going to the gym. What do you think is going to happen to the 6-pack?
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot, like, goals. I had an agent the other day. We were setting a goal, and I like to have some targets. They're milestones. They are milestones. Set a lot of them, acknowledge them, and celebrate them. But be focused on winning the day, the daily win. If you can go to bed every day and go, I did what I was supposed to do today to move the needle. If you do that 5 days a week over time, you're going to get those milestones you're searching for. Like, and it's that simple, but we just, everything, like, and we're guilty, but it's just like, we're not flying to Mars, right? We're not trying, like, we're just trying to connect with human beings and help them navigate the complex process of real estate transactions. All we're trying to do. But we get on social media and we go to our broker rewards and we go here and we hear a new idea or we see a killer and we think there's a magic pill. Mm-hmm. And every time we get away from the integrity and what we said we were going to do is when we go down a magic pill tunnel, and I am 100% guilty as well. But that's what it is. That's what it is. It's easier to call it, out than it is to walk the path.
Yeah. And I think just to circle back and tie into it, right? That's why people get happy feet, They're either thinking that they're going to go to another place and there's the magic pill, or my recommendation for people that are thinking about making the move is get yourself with people that are going to, if you're going to make the move, get you where you want to go or hold you accountable to what you need to do to get there, right? Or show you the path. Because, there's brokerages, any brokerage is it doesn't matter. That's not the brand. You're your own brand, right? People buy, sell, rent, invest with me because they know me, they trust me, they love working with me. I don't have, they don't even know, like, okay, if I told them I was brokered by EXP, they'd be like, oh, okay. They just know me as the agent. You know what I mean? So it's like, it doesn't matter where you're at. It matters what you're doing.
And this stuff doesn't happen in 30 days. Like, that's another big one. This stuff, like, it's a new rhythm you've got to find, and somebody's going to keep you accountable to that new rhythm. 30 days in, you're just learning that new rhythm and that new process. In the next 3 to 6 months, you're optimizing that rhythm and process, and making it become somewhat unconscious or subconscious. Anyway, it's not really for a year that you really see the effects. And even, I'm guilty as well. I had a coach that I had hired, and we had started through the process, and I kept tweaking and not listening for a while. And where I cut it off, because it wasn't working for me, we were about 5 months in. But I kind of believed in the subject. I just thought they were teaching me the wrong way. Well, at the time. And I wasn't like certain of it. It just was the theory. And I was sick of paying the money for the coaching. Fast forward about 7 months after I quit, I started to win at what they told me. And I changed a thing or two. That wasn't what it was. What it was exactly where they were trying to help me, which was on the call. Like, it was on the phone call with the recruit. Like, that was what it was. And we were working on that then, but I was scared of the accountability that it was my fault. Like, oh, it's your system, like, I'm just as guilty as this. But that coach was right. That coach was right with everything back then. And leaders, some people just aren't going to be in the right position to listen to you at that time. Like, they've got to, Jason and I, we lead people, right? They might not be receptive to what they need to be receptive to right now. They might need to go through some pain to be receptive, and it just sucks, but that's life.
Well, like I said, happy feet, sometimes it's the right message at the right time, right? Sometimes you're getting that message, but you're just not ready for it, or maybe not mature enough for it right now. But then when it clicks, right? And it's like, that's what they were trying to help me with. You know what I mean? And everybody needs that. We all need somebody to kind of help guide us, help grow, because you're never going to be able to learn everything on your own, or hit the numbers that you want to do, by just trying to figure it out yourself. It's like I always go back to Matt's quote. I've been loving it lately. Real estate's just a math game. Everything else is just drama. It's like, simplify it down and go. But it took me a long time just to get that message, right? But now I have that message, timing and message, right? So now it's hitting home, right? So I know I have to make adjustments and things like that. So it's like, I get it. Why people are, kind of doing the happy feet thing. Another thing that we'd even touch on is, like, people getting a happy feet because the potential of a gold rush, right? Where they see the new shiny object brokerage, and it's like, oh, I'm going to get in with this new rev share thing, and I'm going to grow this out, and I'm going to blah, 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 and it's going to be like, boom, and I'm going to start that up. And then they get there, and they're like, yeah. How many people do we see?
No, because that's huge with the EXP thing. There's a lot that have gone to Real and LPT. And, by the way, like, I like all the models. There's things I like about Real. There's things I like about LPT. I think they all have their own place. I think there's cases for all of them. There's winners at every brokerage you pick. Like, there's still winners at Century 21. They're just wearing a mustard colored jacket. Sorry, had to do it. Anyway,
PG.
Just kidding. Maybe. So the thing is, though, there's a lot of EXP agents that see the vanity of revenue share, And then they see these other brokerages, and they're like, well, I can do it from scratch. Like when they did, that's the reason why these people got the revenue share here. Not the fact that these people that have these high levels of revenue share did the work. No. They joined early, so that, if I join early, I'll get it there. These people couldn't recruit here, they can't recruit there. You don't have the skill here, you don't have the skill there. Like, and I can't stress that enough. Everybody gets so caught up in the revenue share aspect, and it's cool. I love revenue share. I think it's an awesome concept, but it is another business that you have to commit and have accountability to, and learn skills, and learn how to create an offer that's valuable to people or attract them with. Like, it's this, if you can't recruit here, what makes you think going over there is just going to make you recruit any better? Like,
what's your value proposition, right? Like, why would you go and join somebody, right? So if people are getting happy feet, they're going to say, well, why would I go ABC, right? And then it's like, okay, well, what are you doing there that's different? Well, if it's like, well, just see this model, it's like, well, people want to be around people. It's the culture. It's what they're building. It's their positive energy or whatever it is. It's not that, I mean, when I signed up with EXP, I didn't even know any of that stuff as far as rev share or the stock stuff. I was like, I was in a small mom and pop brokerage. I had to go drive like a half hour to hand in my hand files. I had some pain with that. I liked the fact I could just scan all this shit in and, get paid electronically. I didn't have to go back up a half hour, pick up my check. If the broker wasn't there, then I have to come back another time. I'm like, man, this is just a pain in the ass. I was working a W-2 job at that time. I'm like, there's got to be a better way, right? And I found that out. I'm like, okay, IT guy, this is IT. It fits, that worked for me. But I mean,
people. Well, and I think in defining a better vessel, like if you're in that moment where you're considering things like what you're talking about, and those are good things, those are pain points that you can solve, and that's definitely, because that's the vessel that you're parking your business at. But also, look at, I think, if you're an agent considering any brokerage, I think look at how will it fit you in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I think the longevity of it, like switching. I used to think it was a good thing because when you post it, everybody thinks you got a job promotion and it's a reason to talk to people you want to talk to. But I actually would say it's only good because when they go to that new brokerage, they're reinvigorated with a new set of motivation. But over time, that fades, and then they're back where they're at. The reason it distracts you from the prospecting activities, though, too. So, like, if it's going to be a move you're going to make, the longer term it can be is probably better, because then you're getting a rhythm that you can just run for decades, hopefully, is the goal. So finding, I think, like on the people who are actually just looking for a better vessel, you're sitting here at 60% commission split, like what the hell, and then you're going to go look at a couple. Like, find one that you can win what you're currently looking at, and then there's an ascension plan in place that you won't collapse the model with. Like, it won't make sense, and that takes a little bit of math and consideration of some things, and maybe the right conversation. But the ascension plan, I think, is important, unless I'm just full of shit. I don't know. I feel like I'm like,
I mean, like you said, you have to have a long-term plan for it. But, what you don't want to do is set yourself up for your excuse. And what I mean by that is you don't want to make the jump and then just say, oh, it's their fault that I wasn't successful.
Right.
You know what I mean? Oh, I went to this new place and I'm not getting what I want. It's their fault, right? So we all build in these excuses, and it's like, instead of taking ownership and saying, maybe it's me, I got to change. It's like, a lot of times people make that jump because it's like, then they have the excuse for why they're not where they were. They have someone to blame besides themselves too. So, I mean, I would say before you make any jump, see, kind of circling back to that is just, see, were you doing what you needed to do where you're at? Is it the place or is it you, right? It's hard to say it's us. Nobody likes to take blame for anything. I'm lazy, and I was, harping on you yesterday with just being accountable to myself for tracking my meals. Like, I'm slacking, man. I'm fucking slacking. But I know I got to do it if I want to hit my goals. I know it's going to help me. But it's easy excuse to say, I forgot, or I
Well,
don't
because
want to walk that I had 3 beers last night. Damn it.
I mean, well, in the whole argument of like it's the brokerage is so nullified at almost any brokerage because you pick the brokerage. I'm going to show you somebody successful, and it's the same thing I always say about lead generation strategies. Don't tell me Facebook ads, Zillow, cold calling, door knock. Don't tell me they don't work. I'll show you somebody who's making $500,000 a year doing it. They all work.
Yep.
It's just you're not doing or not willing to do the things that are required to get that. Like this brokerage model works. Kidding me? EXP has tons of big hitters here. So it works. Real, tons. Remax, tons. All of them. Like they all have a bunch of winners. So all those, there's somebody that made it work in that model. So 100% it can work. But does it fit your core values? Does it have is there a good long-term plan for it? Does it solve some of your pain points that you experience throughout a day? Like, some people are very virtual, like you and I. Some people are very in person. Like some people cannot do this virtual game. They need the office. They need that stuff. So you got to find a place that fits that,
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people locked into long-term contracts that are just miserable. It's got to be like, if you sign a long-term deal with the Steelers right now, you got to just be like, oh,
you would.
I don't want to be there. Ship is sinking.
From a Vikings fan, you gave me that. I know you got some anger to take out, but
see, I have to bust on other people's teams so I don't show my own Viking tears. Somehow we're in the playoffs. I don't know if I want them to get in, and it's the hope of maybe we have a chance, or tank and maybe we get a top 10 pick. I'm right between them right now.
Yeah, I like it. So I mean, obviously, I think you can see the internal debate. The conversations that we have. We don't have it all figured out, but we're doing our best. And I think at the end of the day, I think the point that everybody can agree on is make sure you're not the cause of your own fault before you switch. Like if you're looking at switching, make sure it's for a, valid reason, not something that you're not willing to do or skipping out that's causing your current pain. And I think that's, personal accountability a little bit. If you can have that, maybe you should be looking if you can get past that, but maybe you get stuck there. Maybe you should go figure that out first before you make the switch is my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. And just to chime in on that, like I said, nobody's perfect, right? Neither one of us are perfect. We're just out there trying to grind and hustle and, do the best we can. But I want to throw it out there. I know you're doing it for, your markets. I'm going to be doing it for my market where, people that aren't agents now, if they're looking to get into the business, we're looking to throw out a scholarship for them, send them through real estate school, see if they want to be part of what we're doing here, if they're looking for a career shift. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So we are making a big hiring push in Tampa, Florida, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So anybody watching this, let me know, get you hooked up with our sales manager and bring you into our info session. I'm actually heading into one here in a couple minutes. Shoot me a message, DM, let me know. But we are firing up and ready to rock. We've got a process laid out. That's the best of the best processes we've used to make six-figure earners in real estate. It's possible. So if you're looking at joining our team, let me know. And Jason, I know you're doing the same, man. So
yeah, we're hiring. We got this awesome office down here in Avoca. I'm looking to grow it out. Anybody that's looking to make a career shift, wants to join, see what we have going on, more than happy to have a confidential, private conversation. Like I said, any agents that are thinking about making the move or whatever, if you're not getting what you're getting and, you want to kind of explore options, definitely hit us up on that too.
Exactly. We open up our playbook. Excuse me. That's all we're doing. We're trying to give value out and find the people that vibe with us. Yeah. So that was a good one. Good stuff. We'll be back next week after the holidays. So hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas and enjoys the time away from the chaos of real estate if you're in it, or business if you're listening for other reasons, or just life. Enjoy the people and the holidays. So
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you and Britt and the kids. Hopefully you have a nice holiday. Looking forward to taking a couple days off here and go see some Christmas lights and watch some Christmas movies and not log the Christmas cookies that I pound in the next couple days.
you better log them. Accountability. I logged all my cookies I've ate over the last 30 days. You better log them. I'll be calling you.
2024, I'll start logging.
No. Starts now. Well, thank you, man. And Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. And we'll be chatting soon. To everybody watching us on all the mediums, thanks for tuning in. We're just getting started. We'll see you on the next one.